Hi, I'm Derek, and this is Boise Cylinder Head Services channel. In past videos, we've tore down a Subaru single overhead cam. We cleaned it up in the glass beater, installed guides, and this is the next step in the rebuild. This is the cylinder head we're working on. Guides have been swapped out. It's all cleaned up. We are going to put it in our Rottler SGF8 over here, our seat and guide machine, and we are going to level it up. Use our seat profile cutter right here to put a multi-angle cut onto our seats to make sure our 45-degree contact area is sufficient for perfect vacuum and compression, all said and done and assembled. So we will start that by putting the cylinder head right here. I have a couple clamps that I'll show you as I'm working with it. We'll use this electronic digital level to level the head fixture to the guide and the valve positioning. And this is our level readout right here. We got our speed controls up here. We want to go front, forward, or backwards with the cutter. On off buttons, emergency stop. There's also some handles down here to lower the cutter down in. But yeah, let's get started. We just want to put this right in here. Got a couple of back stoppers to keep us even from left to right. And then we'll put these clamps here to hold the cylinder head in place. It's always important that you wear your safety glasses and have everything clamped tight so you don't have anything fly out at you. Alright, once we have it nice and tight, we'll get it somewhat close to level as far as this exhaust seat is concerned. Then we're going to grab a carbide pilot that goes in there that we can use our level to adjust this thing to perfect level. This is our carbide pilots. We have a huge selection of these crazy expensive little devices. They come in different diameters here to fit different applications, and they're really really sturdy. They don't have any flex to them whatsoever, so that this thing doesn't move and we get a nice clean cut. We're going to put this level on here. We'll level it front to back on our gauge here. We're shooting for plus or minus 0.03. There we are. We'll tighten this thing down and we'll check our level left to right. It's a little bit off, so we're going to adjust it just a whisker. Alright, we're back to 0 here. Then I'll check it the other way once more just to make sure nothing shifted. We got 0 and 0. It's about as good as it gets right there. Now we'll get our cylinder head in the travel zone for this fixture. It only moves back so far front to back, so we got to be within that range. We wouldn't want to have this bind up on the outside of its range here. So that should be sufficient. The next step is to set our cutter to the right size so that it cuts a nice 45-degree angle that'll contact the valve right pretty much in the center of this valve in between my fingernails. We got a little tool that we use to pinpoint where we want that. Slide that in here. We just set that pin where we want the top of the 45 to be on our cutter. Then we'll take this out, use that carbide pilot to put it back in this fixture, and then we will loosen this cutter up. I don't know if you can see that in the picture, but there's multiple angles on this cutter. It's kind of rounded right here, which is good for airflow. Right here in the center is our 45-degree angle, and we're going to set it on the top line of that 45 to get our positioning correct. Alright, there we have it. We'll just tighten it back down. We'll cut our seat and then confirm our positioning on the valve. This just snaps into place here. I'll just call it. Put our pilot back in. This is an air float system. We just float it onto the pilot. Do one step on the pressure plate to center it up. We'll touch down just a little bit and we'll set our gauge to 0. That'll tell us how deep into the cylinder head we're going. Again, we always want to make sure everything's tight. Don't want anything coming loose and flying at you or breaking. Check our spindle speed, our RPMs, and then we'll turn it on and cut. There you have it. There's one cut seat. We're going to check our contact area, make sure we're where we want to be. For that, I use a little bit of ink. Put a little dab of that on the seat. We'll pop our valve in there and spin it. Then the ink smears around and you can see the contact that we have on our valve, which is right where we want it. It's ideal size for heat relief and for good vacuum and compression. So we'll cut the rest of these seats and then we'll switch to the intakes and do the same thing there. As you can see in these last two seats here, this is the old 45-degree angle on the worn out seat, and it's about double the size of what we're putting in it now. That's just because it's been beaten up and worn out right there, and this one's nice and clean and back to spec. All right, now that we have that done, we're going to set up for the intake side and cut those seats as well. Just got to get leveled where we want it. There we go. Tighten it back down. And these valves, exhaust valves and intake valves, are different sizes, so we'll have to reset our cutter to be centered on this one. So that's what we're going to do next. Same way, we'll use the pin pointer to put it where we want it. Right there. Loosen this thing back up. We can adjust our cutter to where we need it to be. Again, we just want that pinpoint to be at the top of the 45. That's where I placed it on the valve, so it'll be accurate. And again, we'll confirm once we cut our first seat to make sure we're right on point with our contact. Pile it in there, put this in the chuck. Make sure we're centered in between our area of range. That'll do it. Tighten everything down, and then we can cut. The intake seats don't wear out nearly as bad as the exhaust do in most cases, and so it takes a little bit less cutting than the exhaust side does. But it does widen up a little bit, so we do want to cut it with a nice profile to bring it back to like it was when it was brand new. So you can see that's pretty spot on, right where we want it. We don't want it exactly dead center, usually on the outer edge of dead center. Alrighty, so now that we got that, our profile's looking sweet, our contact area is looking sweet, we'll cut the other 4, and the other 3 seats. I slowed the RPM speed down way slow so you can get a better view of it cutting. The cutter just spins around and takes that material out of the way and reshapes it to what we want. I'll speed it up for the finishing cut here. Alrighty. And that's all it takes to get these seats back into like new condition. We're going to pull this cylinder head out and move it to the resurfacing machine. That'll be in our next video. So thank you for watching, and subscribe to our channel by clicking the subscribe button. And thank you for supporting our channel by doing that. Go ahead and hit the bell notification as well so that you can get every notification when we have new videos. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.